Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Market Targets. Just like every other week, I have my pairs ready to go, so let's jump right in. This week, we always look at gold, thinking gold is going to go to the upside, but it's a pair that I honestly just wait for it to show its hand in order to enter either short or long. So let's see what it wants to do this week. Last week, I did not trade it. Let's see if it wants to go long this week. If not, I'll see if it gives me a good entry to the downside. Next up is USD CAD. So USD CAD, looking for a long on it, definitely based off the 4 hour time frame. I set up my alert already on this pair for when a shift of trend happens to the upside. I'm ready to take it on the 4 hour time frame. But I'll definitely be very precautious on this trade just because the 4 hour looks very nice, but the daily and the weekly time frame look like it needs good retracement, to be honest. And seeing how last week ended with a bearish engulfing, just in case, even though I might be getting a shift of trend on the 4 hour to the upside on this pair, I might wait a bit just in case it wants to manipulate and go straight to the downside right after to follow through on the retracement on the daily or weekly time frame. So definitely a pair I'll be looking at tonight. USD China, USD China, a pair that's new on my list. Pair I honestly very much like, especially from the 1 hour to 4 hour time frames, are very clean. I like the 4 hour support and resistance that it gives me. So definitely a good pair that I found and I started trading. I actually won the first trade I entered last week on it, a 1 to 1.5, just because I didn't want to set a tighter stop to get a 1 to 2, just to be safe. It was the first time I traded this pair. But this week, I definitely want this retracement on the 4 hour to start already building up a new trend to the upside for the week, just because I believe that this hangman is going to be filled this week on the weekly time frame. And the 2 hour time frame is looking very nice to enter this as soon as it does break this structure right here and become bullish. So looking for a long on USD China. Next up is NZD/JPY, looking for a long on this one again for the third consecutive week. After I caught the move 2 weeks ago, I did not catch it last week to the upside, but I definitely want to see it retrace to this support or give me any indication it wants to just keep going up off this support right here and continue bullish. Next up is USD CHF. USD CHF is a pair I wanted it to go long last week, and it did start doing the pump to the upside last week, but I believe it wants to continue it this week and finally make the new higher high on the weekly time frame as well on the daily time frame. So I'll be looking for a long on this one pretty soon, to be honest. It already has all the time frames from the 4 hour to the 30-minute bullish, the weekly and the daily obviously as well. So it's pretty much ready, but I'll look for more structure and more confirmations in order to enter this trade on a long. AUD NZD, AUD NZD. I'm starting to get the hang of this pair, especially when NZD and AUD news hits. So, as you can see here, these two big ass candles to the downside are after the cash rate for NZD went positive, and that's pretty much the same thing that happened here about a month and a half ago, and the same thing that happened here about 4 months ago. So as soon as that news hits positive on NZD, the push it does to the downside is freaking insane. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for that type of move in the next coming months. But as you can see here, the common thing is as soon as it does that big retracement on the week after that news to the downside, it wants to continue the upside right after. So that's what I'm be looking for, especially after this pin bar on the bottom of this trend happened. I'm be looking for a long, even though it's a very risky trade because the weekly, daily, and 4 hour are going to be very bearish when I do decide to enter a long on this pair. So definitely going to be looking at it on the smaller time frames just so I could get more confirmation that it wants to keep going up instead of going down. Risky trade, but definitely a trade I'm I'm almost positive I'm going to be entering this week. AUD CHF. AUD CHF, definitely one of my favorite pairs to enter. Pretty much have won off this support and resistance about one, two, three, four, 5 times. So, and I've lost it once. I definitely feel very comfortable trading on this support level on AUD CHF. Want a long on this one as well. I'll wait for a bit of a retracement on the 30-minute, 15-minute in order to continue this trend to the upside. So definitely going to be cooking up for tonight as well. GBBCHF, I caught last week on a 1 to 2 going long. I could have continued it, to be honest. I could have held it for the whole week and would have hit probably a 1 to 6. Not my type of trade. I don't like to swing trade. I usually like to day trade. So I'm definitely looking for another long on this pair as well. Even though that I might already be asking for a retracement, I will be confident that it wants to either go to the upside off this support level or off this one. So I'll just wait for it to show its hand first. And as soon as it does, I'll be interested in a long on it. Let me move the support just a bit up. There you go. Make it cleaner. Next up is AUD JPY. AUD JPY, looking for a long on this one, even though that the weekly is bearish, the daily it's bullish, but it did an evening start that it didn't fully get completed last week, which is good. But it's definitely, in my opinion, a bit of a risky trade in order to enter. Just because JPY tends to be so wicky, so manipulative. It's not one of my favorite type of currencies to trade, to be honest. JPYs, it has to be probably NZD JPY, the one I'm most comfortable with in trading. So definitely something for me to take in consideration at least. But I can see here that it's definitely consolidating off this support level in the 4 hours. So I'll wait for a break, to be honest, on the smaller time frames in order to see what it wants to do. Because if it does want to go to the downside, I will not be interested in this pair at all. So yeah, next up would be CHF JPY. So CHF JPY, I'm looking at for it to go short. This is the first short I think on my list. Yes, it is. So as you can see here, it did a head and shoulders on the 4 hour after it did a mini one right here that manipulated me and took me out. To be honest, I thought this entry was very clean, even though that I'm gonna be looking for almost the same exact entry if I get a pullback to this resistance and then get more confirmation for it to go to the downside. Not my favorite pair for the week, to be honest. Most likely not going to enter this pair, but I definitely will watch it. Last but not least, we have Euro AUD. Euro AUD, basing it off always the weekly time frame, my favorite time frame for this pair. Want the continuation off of this bearish trend to continue, not caring about the daily time frame, being bullish at the moment just because I am thinking it wants to definitely go to the downside. So I'll wait for more confirmation on the smaller time frames in order to enter this short. Besides that, those are all the pairs that I'm looking at for the week. So let's recap what pairs I want for the week, and those are going to be gold. I'm waiting for it to show me its hand, for it to go long or short. USD CAD wanted to go long. USD China as well. I'm looking for a long on China as well. NZD JPY, looking for a long on NZD JPY as well. USD CHF, another long. AUD NZD, another long. AUD CHF, going long as well. GBP CHF, long as well. AUD JPY, guess what? Another long. And the last two pairs, I want them to go short, which are CHF JPY and Euro AUD. With that being said, I want you guys to leave down below in the comments what pairs you guys are interested in trading this week. If it's one of the pairs I have on my list, or if it's a pair I left out. So let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Market Targets. See you guys next week.